Hello, my name is Tamika Moore, and this is my video for my diversity book review for the class Literature for Early Childhood Education. The first book that I chose for my diversity book review is titled Don't Laugh at Me by Stephen Seskin and Alan Shamblin, and illustrated by Glenn Dibley. This book is about different types of children. This book was written from the lyrics of a song that teaches children about differences and how children should show kindness and respect towards each other. The reason why I chose this book is because I've taught pre-K for a few years and I've come across children that have worn glasses, that has had missing teeth, learning disabilities, they were tall, they were skinny, they were fat, they were short, and some even had hearing impairments. And so I chose this book because, again, we come across all kinds of children in our daily walks, especially in the school system. And I felt like this book was a very important book for young children to read and not only listen to the song, because, again, we can teach compassion and we can teach understanding. And one of the first activities that students could do to learn about compassion and understanding of children who are all different is to sing the song that goes along with the story. The second activity that the students could do is to create a book about kindness. Now, again, both of these activities, singing the song and creating the book about kindness, is geared towards young children. But for older children, in some of my research, I found several lesson plans that talk about activities that they can do where they will have the students to stand up or sit down if they're tall, if they're short, if they've ever been bullied, if they've, have different families and different parents and things of that sort. So it teaches children to have compassion for everyone because, again, across this walk in life, we are going to meet a lot of people. And I was blessed to have a nephew that had special needs. He had the trach, he had the feeding tube, he had cerebral palsy, he even had seizures, and he was wheelchair bound. He could not talk, but he was one of the sweetest little boys I ever met. And he brought such joy to my life. And even though he did not get to go to school, when we took him out in public, we would have children that would point and stare. We would even have grown-ups to point and stare at him. And we did not have an issue with the children pointing and staring. Our issue was with the adults that would look at him and would point to him. I'll never forget, we were in Walmart a couple of years ago, and there was this lady with her grandson, and the little boy would not stay seated in the basket. That lady walked up to my sister and I with my nephew, and she pointed to him and she told her grandson, "Do you want to end up like this little boy?" And she pointed at my nephew in the wheelchair. And she was like, "You need to sit down." Granted, we were in public. I was upset. My sister was upset. And we just had to walk away because of people's ignorance. So if we teach children how to have compassion and understanding, and like the title says, do not laugh, this world would be a better place. The second book that I chose for my diversity book review is called Whoever You Are by Mem Fox and illustrated by Leslie Stahl. I chose this book because we are living in a time where some people are having trouble accepting people for who they are. This book will help children to understand that whoever we are, wherever we are, we all love to learn, play, and laugh. This book also talks about how we may not all speak the same language, we all may not look alike, but guess what? We are all the same. We all love, we all have family, we all have friends, and we all care about each other. But just because we all may not live in the United States, and we may live across the water over in England or Africa or Australia, guess what? We are all the same. We all have feelings, we all have emotions. And guess what? When we're not treated nicely, guess what? That hurts our heart and it hurts our feelings. So again, with this book, Whoever You Are, it teaches us about no matter where we are around the world, we are all the same. The activity that will go along with this lesson is for the teacher to display a globe, and the students can discuss where they were born. Next, the teacher will have a drawing or picture of the globe, and the students can place a picture of themselves where they or their families lived. Now, this is an activity that I would do in pre-K just to teach a little bit about myself, because as you can see, I'm an African American woman, and I will want students to know, yes, I did, I was born in the United States. I was born in the state of Alabama, but when I learned and researched my history, I found out that I have loved ones that were born and raised in Africa. So I would probably take a picture of myself and I would put it in Africa and explain, this is where some of my family members live. And guess what? They love just like I do. They laugh just like I do. They love to play and have fun just like I do. And even though they live in Africa and I live in the United States, guess what? We're still the same. And I like this book, especially for my children who are from, Mexico or Colombia or Brazil. And they can learn that, hey, I may have been born from this country, or my family may have come from this country. We are still all the same. The third book that I chose for my diversity book review is titled It's Okay to Be Different by Todd Parr. It's Okay to Be Different is a picture book about being different. And I loved how they used characters and not actual people for this story. And this book is very important because it teaches character development, to celebrate our differences, and to help young children foster literacy skills, especially if you read this book over and over again. And I find this book very important. If you ever get a chance to read this book, it talks about, maybe having one mom or one dad, or having two moms, or having two dads. And I find that very important because, again, I teach pre-K and I've come across a lot of families. Last year, I had a set of twin boys in my class that had two mothers, and they were a wonderful family. But because we are not taught to accept differences, we have a tendency to mistreat people. And so again, I find this activity in this book to be very important. And the activity that can go along with this story is allowing the students to create a self-portrait using multicultural materials. They can bring things from home to help, celebrate the diversity and them being different. And again, with the kiddos, especially in pre-K and kindergarten, we can compare and contrast our families, our hair, our eye color, our skin color, and just who we are. And we can understand, guess what? It is okay to be different. I can be your friend. You can be my friend, because guess what? We love to laugh. We love to play. We love to learn. And guess what? Just because you look different from me and I look different from you does not mean that I have to be mean to you or I can't be your friend. So again, all of these books, Don't Laugh at Me, Whoever We Are, and It's Okay to Be Different, are three important books that will teach diversity. And the younger we teach it, the better we are.